All right. Happy Saturday night. What's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. If you're a football fan, it's been some good football today. The Baltimore Ravens beat the Houston Texans 34-10 to advance in the next round. And right now, you got the Green Bay Packers and in San Francisco playing the 49ers, but the 49ers are up 7-6. So another good game. And tomorrow we got two more games. Tomorrow we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Detroit Lions, and we have the Kansas City Chiefs in Buffalo to face the Bills. So some good football. But let's get to the topic at hand here. All right, what should this Yankees lineup look like? And before I do that, I think I want to go with the Hall of Fame ballot. So on Tuesday is the Hall of Fame baseball Hall of Fame announcement, right? As we stand right now, there are four guys who have surpassed or are surpassing the required 75% criteria that's required for the Hall of Fame, right? We got Adrian Beltre, 98.9%. He's a shoo-in. Joe Mauer, 84.2%. Probably going to get in. Todd Helton, 83.2%. Good chances. And then Billy Wagner, left-handed closer, 79.9%. And then just under the threshold right now is 74.5% is Gary Sheffield. Andrew Jones at 71.2%. I think this might be Sheffield's final year on the ballot too. And then you have Carlos Beltran, 66.3%. Chase Utley. And this is a big drop from Carlos Beltran. Chase Utley is the next guy at 42.3%. And then as we stand right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys who are not receiving the required 5%, who might get kicked off the ballot. If you don't get a required 5%, you're not on the ballot the following year. And that's Torrey Hunter, 4.3%. Jose Batista, 1.1%. Victor Martinez, 0.5%. Matt Holliday, 0.5%. Bartolo Colon, big sexy, 0.5%. James Shields, Jose Reyes, Brandon Phillips, and Adrian Gonzalez all got 0.0%. No votes. So that's where it stands right now. The announcement's officially going to happen, so this might change slightly on Tuesday night. So I'll be live that night to go over it, and we'll see, and we'll congratulate whoever makes it into the Hall of Fame. So, and I do think, guys like Roger Clemens and Pete Rose, like, feelings will erode over time. And those guys, I think, will eventually get it. I mean, I hope they get them while they're alive, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But that's how the Hall of Fame thing stands right now. Now let's get into the lineup itself. So if you haven't heard, let me give a shout out to everybody here, by the way. JJ's in the house. Hayden. Who else we got here? What's up, guys and gals? Aiden's here too. What else we got? Texas Buckeye. There he is. The King of Texas is in the house. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're recovering well. All right. Always good to have you on here. Billy Branch Clemens is here too. All right. Yes. The big boys are here. Mike Perez is here too. Jonathan's here. There he is. There he is. Who else we have here? We got 77 people. Let's hit them likes already. Let's try to get to 200 likes as quickly as we can. Roy Estrada's here too. Yankee Mike. All right. All right. And Peanuts in the house too. A Rivera, what's happening? Scott Boras. Yeah, you might. I have a question. Like, why does Scott Boras clients? I was just asking a friend of mine this. Why do Scott Boras clients slow up free agency for everyone else who's not Scott Boras clients? That'd be my question to ask. Why do they let that happen? There should be some kind of thing put in place where that they can't let that happen. You can't. He has a handful of clients, maybe a dozen guys, and it's slowing it down for everybody else. But that's like ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I don't understand that one. Peter Risbergs is here too. All right. Well, Brandon Moore's in the house. What's up, man? Yankees got really lucky despite not using Yamamoto. He dodged a bullet once. Soto biggest game for Yankees. Yeah. Look. It's crazy. Like the Zips projections right now have the Yankees at a third-place team in the American League East. I don't know about that. They have Baltimore, then Boston, and then the Yankees. Now, I can understand Boston getting better. They generally don't stink 2 years in a row. So I could see them getting better. But there's a team in the American League that has improved more than the Yankees right now. So, and the Orioles haven't really done anything. They've added who they had, Craig Kimbrell. to be their closer because their closer going to have Tommy John surgeries out for the year. So, and there's still a talk about them potentially trading for Dylan Cease. We'll see what happens. So, but aside from that, who else have they brought in? Nobody. 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 Who's that? McMahon, AD McMahon. What's happening? Stephen B's in the house too. Chicken palm, baby. All right. Tim King and Jordan's is here too. All right. Munson, Mattingly, and Guidry. It's really hard to argue with that. Really hard to argue with that. James Beal. What's happening, James? Oakley Turner's here too. Right. The crew here. I love it. I love it. Joe Mingioa. Joe's here. James, Eagles best. Right. Nicholas. Yo, Nyman. What's going on? What's going on, bro? Roy Carbone. God, Cadzilla's here. Right. Terry Edwards. Carl Torture. There he goes. Coach Carl, what's happening, my man? Hope you're doing well. And I want to talk to you about it if you have a minute. I'll go email back and forth. I want to pick your brain a little bit about running. Maybe you and I can collaborate on the running thing if you would be willing to do that, Carl. Yassine's in the house. Nick, Word Lifer. All right, Devin. Yes. Strike Zone NFE is in the place. Yes, indeed. And we'll miss you, NFE. Don't worry, man. We'll hold the fort down for you, brother. D's channel. What's up, D's channel? Peter Risbergs. Wookie. In the place. In the place. JT. Thank you, my friend, Texas Buck. I appreciate that. Yeah, hit them like buttons, gang. Let's blow through 100 likes. Let's try to get to 200 if we can. I appreciate you as always, Texas. You are the man, my friend. Donald's in the house. Sean Browning. Right. Yes, sir. There's AD McMahon. There's a couple teams that are cutting back financially. Boston, Minnesota. And so a lot of this, I mean, not every team, but a lot of it has to do with these TV deals right now. And like Texas Rangers and the Cleveland Guardians were kind of chopped off the block of this TV deal. They don't really have a TV streaming service right now, a team that's playing their big games exclusively. So it's going to affect their ability to bring in people. And don't be surprised if the Guardians have to trade Emmanuel Clase now, have to trade Shane Bieber and get less for them because they're in a little bit of a financial rut. Don't be surprised if the Texas Rangers don't bring back Jordan Montgomery because of this TV deal. They've been dropped from this TV deal. So crazy things have happened, but like and I had a video on this last week, even update on what's going on in the TV land and the TV deal land, and it's pretty crazy. But it also affects the financial stability and the financial situation of some of these teams, and it's very frustrating. I can only imagine it's got to be scary for some of these teams too. It's got to be scary. Chris Schmidt, there he is. Green Bay just booked this field goal. Yeah, 7-6 at the half. All right. Do I think go Yankees? Do I think the Yankees go? You know what? This is the question. Let's just say, and you guys and gals, give me your idea. Give me your feedback on this. Let's just say he costs $12 million a year. Well, that $12 million becomes $24 million because they're over the Cohen threshold, and everything above the Cohen threshold, for those that don't know, is taxed dollar for dollar. So it's $24 million instead of 12, or 20 instead of 10, or whatever it might be. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the Marlins are still dangling Edward Cabrera, cheap, controllable starter. It'll probably cost a good handful of prospects, but he's controllable for several years on the cheap. So if they want to add to their rotation, that's probably the cheapest way they can do it, unless they're looking to trade for a Mariners pitcher. And they're still 3 weeks plus before the spring training starts. So I expect more moves, and they don't necessarily have to be blockbuster moves, but I expect more moves to happen. And the roster's still not yet 40. So there's still going to be some more things that happen. But I'm 50-50 right now on Neris to the Yankees. I really am. Robert Stevenson signed with the Angels last night. Aaron Blum, there he is. Josh Hader signed with the Houston Astros. So it's possible. It's possible. And if I were the Yankees, I mean, he'd be a good guy to bring in. And he's playoff tested. And I would hate the Houston Astros to add him and Hader. That would stink. So, well, Chris Schmidt, I mean, there was conflicting views, right? I mean, so Bob Nightingale put out 5 years, 150. And then John Heyman yesterday put out 6 years, 150. So I don't know if the initial offer countered the initial reporting on the offer countered the other reporting from these other guys. See, because you take what with a grain of salt, whatever John Heyman says, you take it with a grain of salt, whatever Bob Nightingale says. But and like my question yesterday is, if the Yankees put out a second offer and added that 6th year, why would the second offer be worse than the first? Because 6 years at 150 is a 25 million AAV. 5 years of 150 is a 5-year, a 30 million AAV. So there's conflicting reporting. We're hearing 6 years, we're hearing five years, but 150. But he rejected it regardless, according to the report. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get a better offer anywhere else. So you never know. He might fall back into the Yankees' laps for all we know. Clay Holmes is getting $6 million. You got $3 million. Yeah, it was a big arbitration raise. Yep. So is Johnny Loizaga is also getting $6 million. So not Johnny, excuse me, Tommy Kahnle. My apologies. Tommy Kahnle is also getting $6 million. So it's adding up. And the Yankees are, as they stand right now, they're at about $306 million. And their luxury tax penalty right now, because all of the levels are calculated cumulatively, are about $48 million. So they're paying about $350+ million right now at the end of the year. And keep in mind, what matters is what the payroll is at the end of the year, not in the beginning of the year. That's when the calculation or penalties are paid out anyway at the end of the year. So they could essentially cut payroll and get under the threshold at a certain point. I don't see it happening, but you never know. You never know. So, well, Wookie, I don't know, man. We don't have the money. The Yankees apparently do, but they already also give out about $100 million a year in revenue sharing, Wookie, to teams that pocket it. So I understand, I understand that part, and I also understand the luxury tax thing. I wouldn't want to pay that much more either, and especially when we're also giving other teams free money and they're not even using it. There's no rule or anything in the CBA that requires them to use it on players or making a better team. They could just pocket the money and get luxury suites, private jets, and all this baloney. So I understand that part too. And so it's not, and I know, there's a lot of folks who don't factor that stuff in. They're just like, oh, the Yankees are number one valued and blah, 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 which they are. But a lot of folks are thinking they just have money to blow. They also have multiple partners, just like the Dodgers do. So there's a lot of stuff that we probably don't know. So Snell's a 5. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? Let's just say he throws 30 games. Half of them are 5 innings, half of them are 6 innings, right? That's about 165 innings. If that's probably the best you can expect out of a pitcher like that. And I wouldn't say he's garbage. He's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. So, and that matters. But again, he's going to get paid because he's a 2-time Cy Young Award winner. So, but again, this is the other thing too, Kedzell. They don't, have to outspend teams to win. Just because the Dodgers spent stupid doesn't mean the Yankees have to do it. So the Yankees got Juan Soto. That alone trumps anything that the Dodgers have done. Dodgers got paid, $700 million for Ohtani, $325 million, which turned into $375 because of the posting fee for Yamamoto. They traded for Tyler Glasnow. They spent $1.3 billion already. So, and they're not guaranteed to win a World Series. So, and they're tied to Ohtani for the next 2 decades. They're tied to Yamamoto for the next 12 years. So, and the Yankees aren't tied up to people like that for decades. So but that's what the Dodgers wanted to do. So, well, this is a good point too, Lewis. Snell might tax our pen. This is why I keep saying a guy like Luke Weaver is going to come in handy because he's a swingman. He could throw long relief. He could throw short relief. He could spot start. So a guy like that, if Snell only gets through 5, you can bring in somebody like that, Luke Weaver or Luis Hill or something. And I've even proposed Nestor Cortes in this regard. You can get out there and throw 3 or 4 innings. That's the difference between using 2 or 3 pitchers and 7 or 8 in a game. So and the Yankees have used that 7 or 8 pitchers way too much, way too often this past year. We can't keep doing that. Can't keep doing that. So long relief, I can't emphasize my view on how important I feel long relief is. For some reason, I don't understand why other teams don't do it, but I would be doing it. I don't know about JJ. He's earned every dime of his salary, Garrett Cole. He has, JJ. So he won a Cy Young last. I mean, this is the other thing. Like, the expectations were, to win a Cy Young almost every year. Those are unreasonable. Look at his stats. And I'll pull them up here. In his bad year, he had a mid-3 ERA. That's considered like almost for everybody else. So let me pull up Garrett Cole stats here. Obviously, he started in 2020, so that's the COVID season. So, nobody really, that was an abbreviated season. And let me pull up the stats here. That was only a 60-game season, so that's like an asterisk for everybody. So, but that year, he was 7-3, 284 ERA, 73 innings pitched, 94 strikeouts. 2021, he was 16-8 with a 3.23 ERA, 2 complete games, 181 innings pitched, 243 strikeouts. 2022, 13-8, 3.5 ERA, 33 games, 200 innings pitched, 257 Ks. And then last year, when a Cy Young, was 15-4 with a 2.63 ERA, 33 games pitched again, two shutouts, 209 innings pitched, and 222 strikeouts. So he has 2,152 strikeouts already. So in my opinion, he's earned every dime. Garrett Cole. Well, he carried this rotation every year that he's been here. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know where the consigliere is. Maybe he'll hop on. Maybe he's busy there. Maybe he's got a date or something. I don't know. We'll see. Brandon wants to know if Giancarlo can't stand struggles again or gets hurt, the Yankees may have to cut him. I don't know. I don't think they're going to cut him with 4 years to go and eat $90 million. I don't know about that. Not during the season. At the earliest, they may make some type of arrangement at the end of the season, but I don't care what anybody says, Brandon. I just can't see them eating $98 million of somebody's contract. So that's just I know fans want it, but it's really not the way it works. So they're running a business here, But again, we'll see what happens. Yeah, well, exactly, Texas. We should have won more Cole starts. Exactly. He should have won probably 20, 21 games this past year. He left with a lead, and then the Yankees bullpen blew it. He lost a bunch of 2-1 games, 3-2 games also. So why he didn't win in Cy Young in 2015? 2015? I don't know. Let's pull up his stats here. He was 19-8 with a 260, 208 innings pitched, 202 strikeouts. He was fourth in the Cy Young. I don't know. No idea. Yeah, I can't see Jose Ramirez being traded either. Cadzilla, if the Yankees got Burns, to me, that's the most fearsome 1-2. Snell, Cole doesn't scare me like Burns and Cole. Cease and Cole doesn't scare me like Burns and Cole would. So that's the way I look at it. So if they were somehow to get Corbin Burns, that would be phenomenal. There he is, the consigliere. There he is. He's here. Got to show him some love, the consigliere. We don't want him to feel ignored. Man. We would never do that, brother. We would never do that, my friend. No, Hal doesn't need to spend big money either, Barry. And who's he going to spend big on now? Yankees don't have the Bracchio, I don't know. Honestly. They do. If they use like Luke Weaver and Luis Hill and Nestor Cortez as swing guys, then they have enough arms in the bullpen. But I still see them adding an arm, at the very least one arm. But we'll see. Nestor gets 3.95. Peter, yeah. Joe Loaiza gets 2.5. Schmidt gets 2.02. And Schmidt's got 4 years of control. So that to me is valuable. So Tanner Scott, the Marlins won't pay. Yeah, the Marlins won't pay Arias, Jazz Chisholm, Tanner Scott. They're going to ARB hearings for all three of these guys. And the Orioles are going to ARB hearings for 5 players. So it just goes to show you how cheap they are. So, and the Yankees payroll, yes, is over 300. They've never been over 300 ever. So they're not cheap. I mean, it could be, Carl. That's a good question. Thoughts on the report that the Yankees are only team interested in Snell? It could be. I'm hearing that in the back, quietly that the Giants and the Angels are lurking for him. And if they give him that 6th or 7th year, he's probably going to go there. That's the thing. Let's see. The Consigliere had a Stevenson question. Let's see. My apologies, Consigliere. This thing goes down pretty quickly. This thing scrolls. I don't know why the Yankees didn't go for. You know what? It's a good question. I don't know. Maybe just the Angels wanted to give him that 4th year. He's 30 for 31, and I'm guessing because the Yankees are they're being very selective right now because they're the only team that's over the Cone threshold. So the what do you call it? The Angels are way under. So the other teams too. So I get it. The Astros are way under. But giving Hader that money might make it harder for them to bring back Altuve, bring back Alex Bregman, and even give an extension to a guy like Kyle Tucker. So that could War Vets here. Here he is. That could affect their ability to do that. But again, they wanted a lockdown closer. They got him in Josh Hader. They've had some issues the last couple of years in their bullpen. So if Yamamoto doesn't perform according to his hype, maybe JJ, but again, I could care less about Roki Sasaki right now. He doesn't have a track record either. And he also is coming off. He had a serious oblique injury. But yeah, if he doesn't perform well, it'll probably affect Sasaki. Yeah. Yep. There he is. The War Vets in the house. Yeah, and a lot of this stuff that the Yankees are doing at this point, based on where they're at, is going to be taken into consideration with their wanting to re-sign Juan Soto next year. And it's not going to be cheap. That's for sure. So, yeah, it's Hayden. I don't know. The problem, too, and Ken Rosenthal even said this the other day, that the agents, guys like Scott Boras and some of these other folks, are basically holding the market hostage because they're asking for exorbitant prices. And this is why 170 players haven't been signed yet by anybody. It's not just the Yankees. It's almost every team because these prices are through the roof. And that's just the way, And now we know this with Scott Boras because he drags free agency as far as he can into the offseason, right? So, but the non-Boras clients it's crazy. These agents are just going nuts, going absolutely nuts. Mark Watson, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm not giving him Jones to begin with. But if it drops, then maybe they'll consider it. But again, if you have to wait until the deadline, the price is going to go down anyway. It's got to go down. You're getting half a year less of the guy Dylan C. So it's got to go down. So the longer the White Sox wait, the less they're going to get. A deadline for players to sign. Yeah, I heard, Ken Rosenthal talked about that. And, yeah. And again, it's their agents that are, the agents are the ones that are setting prices, negotiating with teams, and blah blah blah. It's not really the players. So, 75 likes. All right, let's. Anybody hasn't hit that like button? Let's hit that like button, please. Hit that thumbs up. Want to blow past 100 as quickly as we can. I thank you for it. It always helps the live stream. So if you wouldn't mind, I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we don't know, JJ. That's the question. Aaron Boone is saying that Jason Dominguez is expecting back sometimes this summer. And, we'll see that. JT, I can't see Bregman being in pinstripes personally, but you never know. You never know. After the way he acted after that cheating scandal, I can't see him being fit here. But he's a good player. There's no doubt about it. Maz, I think, is in the Navy. Perez, I think he's in the Navy. Yeah, Altuve's in the line. He's a free agent after this year. Bregman's a free agent after this year. So sit down. Yeah, we might have to have a sit down, Texas. But let's get into if you haven't heard. Aaron Boone had a talk with Todd Frazier and the boys from Foul Territory. And they were asking him about what the Yankees lineup might look like. And at this point, he said, based on it right now, they're thinking of batting Soto second and Judge third. And then, a couple different options for leadoff. And then the rest of the lineup is put in place. And, and like a lot of Yankee fans are going crazy, in all honesty, and about Judge being third and Soto being second. My question is, what does it really matter? Because what matters more, in my opinion, is who bats first and who bats fourth. Who surrounds these guys? Okay, because either way, whether it's Judge then Soto or Soto then Judge, if you don't have the right guys surrounding them, then you just walk these guys, knowing that the rest of the team will drive them in. So at this point right now, what the team has right now, DJ's probably, and I agree with JJ's, he represents probably the best fit for leadoff. I'd like a prototypical leadoff hitter like Arias, but he's not here. So, and, DJ's he's an on-base percentage type of guy and a contact guy. So, he'd probably be, if the lineup is the way that it is, he'd probably be the more representative leadoff hitter. And then you have maybe Soto, because you want to give Soto as many at-bats as possible, right? So, and on the other side, Rizzo or Gleyber Torres, we don't know yet. The last thing we want to do is have somebody who doesn't put the ball in play batting fourth, and if they walk Soto, if they walk Judge, somebody grounding into a double play almost every time out. That's what we don't want, right? So, and DJ's probably the representative at this point because he's batted leadoff with the Yankees before, and he did pretty well. So he'd probably lead off. Like Sean Brown is saying here, DJ, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Verdugo, Torres. So I would probably, personally, I'd probably go Torres fifth, Stanton sixth, then Verdugo seventh, Volpe eighth, catcher ninth. That's what I'd probably do. But that combination of guys right there, Sean, I think is going to be, unless Arias comes here, and I don't think he will. So, but JJ, Rizzo and Stanton are double play candidates, which is why I wouldn't bat Stanton cleanup. Rizzo or Gleyber Torres is represented. Like Gleyber Torres could be fourth. He'll put the ball and play more. I would bat Rizzo fifth. I have no problem with that. So, and yeah, Carl, I mean, this is, we'll love to sub Bellinger for Verdugo and Arias for I would love to substitute Arias for Torres too. And here's another thing, Carl, too. Like Bellinger could take over first base, but then the Yankees are giving Spencer Jones reps at first base now. And Spencer Jones is the highest projected Yankee prospect. He's projected even higher than Jason Dominguez. So, and he might take over at first base. So as much as I'd like Bellinger, I wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't get him. But he might fall into their laps. We just don't know, Carl. Like, that's the other thing. This is what's so intriguing about it. And this is a good problem for the Yankees to have, right? They have a lot of prospects, a boatload of prospects, so that are knocking on the door. But Bellinger, I wouldn't be offended if he was here. And if they had, and if, like I said, if you're going to move Gleyber Torres, you have to get somebody here who's going to somehow replace his offense, right? And if you somehow, and you're not going to be able to trade him to the Marlins for Arias because the Marlins won't even pay Arias, and they're not going to pay Torres. So, like, you'd have to trade Torres to, let's just say, the Mariners for a starting pitcher, something like that, a reliever, and then you try to trade some prospects to the Marlins for Arias if you can, or something like that. Two separate trades. But that's the other thing, too. And this is to your point too, JJ. When I wouldn't put Dominguez in the field at all this year. Just like the Phillies didn't put Bryce Harper in the field for a long time. They DH'd him, and then when he did come back in the field to play first base, I would do the same thing with Dominguez. I would not rush him back. I wouldn't do it. So, and Uncle Ted makes a point too. Volpe at 9 makes 2 leadoff men. Yeah, it's a good point too, because Volpe's had experience leading off here. So was DJ. So if you bat Volpe 9th, you bat DJ leadoff. It's not a bad rotation rolling right into Soto and Judge, or Judge and Soto. So, you know what I mean? Spencer Jones. I mean, I don't want Jones or Soto. I want Jones and Soto here, right, Kelly? So I don't think Soto leaves. I think they're going to sign him, and you know, I think that Soto at some point later, because I think the kind of sequentially the way I have it in my mind is once Stanton moves on, they're going to probably transition Aaron Judge to DH, right? To keep him healthy, and rightfully so. And then you'd have Soto in, like, just say right field. Again, for those that don't know, he's minus 10 defensive runs saved in left field in his career. He's plus 1 defensive run saved in right field. So he's better in right field than he is left field. Okay. And then you can have Spencer Jones either first base or center field. You could have Jason Dominguez out there too. So it gives you a lot of options. I would be surprised if Verdugo came back. I'd be surprised if who else? Gleyber Torres came back. So they're going to have more openings after next year. And JJ, yeah, we vastly improved our hitting. Yeah, exactly. And the lineup is now deeper. It's longer. It's more versatile. It's going to be much harder to get through. So, and that's why, I'm more worried about what they bat at 1 and 4, not 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are going to be good, whether it's Soto Judge or Judge and Soto. Who leads off is key. Want to maximize the opportunities for those guys, right? And who's going to be behind them to drive a lot of these guys in. That way the Yankees can maybe get a multi-run lead early in a lot of games. So, Jose Abreu, 2 years in his contract, $19.5 million per year. Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal with the Astros, right? Yeah. He still got it, Abreu. He still got it. Yeah, that's what we want, Sean. We want kind of death row 1 through 7, right? That's exactly what we want. So, and we have that. Well, thankfully he's not in our division, JJ Hater. I mean, he's in the AL, yes, which I do think, which would 99 likes. We're 1 from 100. All right. Which makes me think they're going to probably wind up with Hector Neris, but we'll see. We'll see. You could do this too, Quillen, out there. You could have, you could hit Verdugo leader versus righties and DJ leader versus lefties. You can move things around. So this is a good problem to have, and this is the deepest the Yankees bench has been in a long time. Last year their bench was terrible. Now it's not. And that's one of the differences that this offseason with the additional players that they brought in trades or on minor league off waivers and blah blah blah. Like a lot of people are not acknowledging that. And it matters. It matters so much. So, I could care less that we don't have Yamamoto. They're going to be fine without Yamamoto. They're going to be fine without Hader. They really are. Well, exactly, Sean. Yeah, alternate. That's good point. To prevent comfort lanes for pitchers. That's a great point. And honestly, Billy, I don't think Snell's going to get a 9-year deal. Like, this is why I said the other day, like, the Yankees offered him, let's just say 5 or 6. Right? Boris counted with 9, so they're going to try he's going to try and compromise and say we'll settle for 7 years. He's going to try to get 8, but I have a feeling he'll more likely settle for 7. So, and that, had he countered at 7 and the offer was 5, then they would have compromised at 6. So this is where Boris getting an extra year for his client. I mean, so sign Hector Neris, which is close. Snell to hire. Well, Aiden, I mean, this is the problem too, Aiden. They're not going to bring all that payroll in without shedding payroll. Both of those guys. What's up, Michael Ryan? Um, and you know, I can't see Snell coming at this point now. You never know. You never know. And they might pass on Neris and just go Wandy Peralta and like Kane and Middleton, who they both had both here last year. So they may do that too, right? The Packers are. I'm surprised. I picked I picked the Ravens early. I picked the Niners to win this game. So, um, yeah. Well, it looks like Marcus Stroman's motivated. He's focused, and he really wants to be here. So I'll take that. I will take that. And he can pitch. He can pitch. So only bat Stanton versus well, he hits lefties really well, Barkiel. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. So if they had to choose between the two, Aiden, my guess is they'd make a move at the deadline for a starter, unless the prices came down before the season started. And Cashman's already not ruled out the possibility of adding another starter or reliever before the season starts. So, and there's 3 weeks left. 3 weeks left. So 13-7 Green Bay. All right. I don't think Snell wants to go to San Francisco. Well, I would agree, Mark, but maybe it's just Scott Boras, trying to get that extra year. But San Francisco also has Robbie Ray now, but they're still a mile away from competing in the AL West. Who's going to go after the Dodgers? The Padres are not going to beat them. The Giants aren't ready to beat them, even though they got Jung-Hoo Lee and traded for Robbie Ray. They still need more pieces. I could see them going to getting a Matt Chapman, the Giants, or the Angels. So, well, Ricky, I get that, but I don't think any team is going to sign Bauer because of the baggage that comes along with him right now. There's still active investigations going on, active court cases and all this stuff. So I don't think any team is going to sign him. Do I think, do I believe in redemption and the ability to get a second chance? Yes, but I would be shocked if a team wants to bring that baggage here. Not only the Yankees, everybody. So we'll see, though. Does anyone see a scenario where Snell and Bellinger not signed? You could see it, Billy. I would be surprised, though, but you could very well see that. Absolutely. Two big Boris clients. Corbin Burns is 10 million. He's younger than Snell, too. He's a year younger than Snell. Yeah, Arias and Burns would push. Definitely, Michael Ryan. Most definitely. Yeah, the Houston Texans lost. They got beat by the Baltimore Ravens. No surprise. The Ravens are a good team. Their quarterback, I mean, I CJ Stroud, but is not at Lamar Jackson's level just yet. But exciting possibilities for the Houston Texans moving forward. Exciting possibilities. So, well, that's the thing too. Yeah, it's too many open investigations on Bauer. It's just I don't think a team would be willing to take on that baggage because you don't know what's going to happen midseason. So, yeah, it wouldn't bother me either, Warbeck. If they brought back Peralta and Middleton, both on the cheap, they would cost less than Neris by himself. So, I would be okay with it too, especially since they've already bought in 3 relievers this offseason and they're getting back Scott Efrost, they're getting back Luis Hill. I'm okay with that. Consigliere wouldn't bring Wandy. Why would you not bring Wandy back? Snell is good friends with Judge. Yeah, I know. He is. Billy, I think, well, it may be over. I think Wander Franco's career is definitely over in MLB. Trevor Bauer, I could see maybe getting a chance, but I think it should be in a smaller market. I'd send him to Milwaukee. Send him to Milwaukee or send him to the Colorado Rockies or something like that. Keep him out of it because everything, in New York too, everything is magnified by 1,000%. So whatever he says or does that's rubs somebody the wrong way, it's going to be 7 different ways coming at you. So it's just you're dealing with a hornet's nest here, an everyday hornet's nest. And I don't know if Bauer's ready for that. He's a gamer though. Well, I don't doubt his talent. He's shown that he's won a Cy Young Award in the majors. So yeah. No. What should the Yankees do? I think they should. I mean, personally, I would trade for a controllable starting pitcher and sign a reliever and call it a day. So Trevor Bauer burns bridge also with the support of a Navy officer. Navy officer jailed in Japan. Why did that happen, JJ? I didn't hear that. No. Bellinger and Snell on that side. Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly, Billy. Yeah, that's hard to spin. And again, like if it, there's a deadline in May that if you don't sign by May, then the qualifying offer attachment goes away. Then you get nothing. So then team can sign them for the money and not have to forfeit draft picks or international money. That has happened a couple of times, not many times, but it has happened. So yeah, same, James. I think Stroman is going to be good here, and and they reported yesterday that Carlos Rodon is lean and he's fit and he's in shape, and so is Nestor Cortez, and so is Giancarlo Stanton. They're already in Tampa too. They've reported voluntarily early, so that's really, really good sign. Really, really good sign. Too inconsistent. Oh, I get you. I don't see what you mean. I get you. Yeah, but again, low 2 ERA too. So that's one of the things I'll definitely have to consider 2-1. Like I wouldn't be upset if they brought him back, but we'll see. Oh, no doubt about it. A handler, yeah. There'd have to be a conduct clause in his contract in Texas. 100%, 100,000%. Yeah, but we can do worse than Wandy, and somebody said it too that this is much better than Ian Hamilton, which is true too. Ian Hamilton, they found him off the scrap heap. He was one of these dumpster dives that fans like to say, right? And he turned into be a Harry Winston diamond, and he's got 5 years of control left too. Power arm, 111 likes. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes. So Robert, what's funny, Robert? Ken Rosenthal went over this, and he said as of right now, there's no there's no whatever you want to call statute in the MLB CBA that allows them to void his contract. So, which is crazy. So MLB would have to suspend. Like I don't know how they would do it, because I wouldn't want to pay him $200 million to not play. That's ridiculous. But according to Ken Rosenthal, he said there was no clause there that allowed him to do that, which is kind of beyond me. So I get what you're saying, Mike Around, but it goes a lot more than that. I don't think a team wants to take that baggage. It could rub a lot of the rest of the team the wrong way. It can create a bad vibe in the clubhouse. That's the last thing we want to do is make it more difficult to re-sign Juan Soto. He might be like, I don't like it here. I don't like the vibe here. Like, I'm going to test free agency. I'm not going to come back. Like, that's the last thing we want to happen. And that's, to me, is priority number one for me. So, but, he's good. Yeah, I've seen Torres' YouTube station. It's his channel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's training right now with Judge and Oswaldo and a couple of these other guys in Tampa that did this hitting lab. So Spencer Jones is there too. He's working with Judge's hitting coach. So is Rizzo. So there's a lot of guys that are really, really fired up for the season, which is great to see. Absolutely fantastic. So Hamilton got struck in the face with line. Yeah. Peter, yeah. He's a beast now, though, Hamilton. He really is a beast. Can I see it? For Bieber, maybe more than Cease, more than Luzardo, but because Bieber will cost a heck of a lot less than the other guys. Haven't heard anything about Bednar yet. He's a guy I would love to compliment with Garrett Holmes. They were former teammates in Pittsburgh. So with Clay Holmes, no doubt about it. Luzardo's also has a checkered injury past too. So Yeah. Trent Grisham is also Billy. He's an elite defender, and keep this in mind too. Like Alex Verdugo is an elite defender, right? The Yankees outfield was minus 26 defensive run saved last year. Verdugo himself is plus 9. So it's a massive upgrade in outfield defense. He's also a slap hitter. He's good. He's good in Yankee Stadium. So good contact hitter. And if you can be a contact hitter, add dynamic to this lineup, and also add to the outfield defense, his value is going to be very, very significant for the Yankees if he plays well. So which really that excites me. And he even said it too. He was angry when they traded him to the Yankees, but he's kind of gotten over that really quickly. And he carried himself extremely well in the intro. So I'm excited about Verdugo. But yeah, Christian, I worry about Bieber's health. I mean, Bieber he's not the top of my list. No, he isn't. So, yeah, AJ Puck, Stephen B. I would take AJ Puck, or even Andrew Nardi from the Marlins. I would take him. So, Lazardo on a rise is not going to happen in one trade. Yeah, I was shocked, and that we won't get that with less. You're going to have to probably give up Jones and Dominguez for that. And I don't think the Yankees are going to want to do that. Lorenzen could be a bullpen piece. He could be a swingman too, JT. He could be very well. What's up, Ollie? No, Ollie, they're not done making moves. And their roster is over 41, so they can't be done. They have to get the roster down to 40. So, and they're still looking to bring in a reliever and potentially a closer. So I don't think they're done, Ollie. You got 3 weeks left. And there's still 170 players that haven't signed yet. So it's going to be pretty busy the next couple of weeks. Pretty busy. 120 likes. All right. If anybody hasn't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Let's try to get to $150 likes here if we can. Would I trade Chase Hampton for Arias? I'm not sure if we'd have to, Chris Schmidt. But it's worth considering. It's worth considering if you can get Arias. So, yeah, I mean, Green Bay's holding. I mean, they're definitely keeping this close. Christian McCaffrey. Well, I picked the Niners to win this, so we'll see. We will see what happens here. Of who? Status of Hamilton? Who's Slambio? Quell. You talking about Ian Hamilton? 21-14 Packers. Yeah, I don't think so either, Jonathan. There's not even Ken Rosenthal was alluding to that. They can't avoid like that would be there's got to be some kind of problem like where there's some kind of where they can litigate it and get it voided. Like if he's never going to play again, they shouldn't have to pay him for the next decade after he had a statutory rape relationship. Like that's just ridiculous. That's completely unfair. That's got to change. So if it were any one of us, we'd be fired and we'd be in jail. Like if we did this, a relationship with a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. Come on. So Gleyber Torres and Juan Soto in their free agency. Oh yeah, they're going to be. I think Verdugo is too because he's going to be a free agent too. JJ, a lot of guys in walk years this year. Mm-hmm. Well, San Francisco better wake up. Yeah, MLB contracts are guaranteed 100% of them. 100% of the contract. It's not like football where you can sign an $80 million deal, but only 53 of it is guaranteed. 100% of the contract is guaranteed in baseball. There's got to be stuff that, like, when A-Rod was suspended for the year, he was suspended without pay. Like, they got to do something. They got to do something. Only politicians can get away with it, Frank. Yeah, exactly, Peter. Hey, Dane, what's up, man? How you doing? Let me ask you this question, Dane. I mean, and let me know what your thoughts are. Like, we're talking about the lineup here, and whether it's Soto Judge or Judge Soto, whatever. I think the more important piece is going to be 1 and 4, the guys around them. Because if and at this point, like, obviously you would love to get a rise, but if from what we have now, DJ's probably the best fit to lead off, right? Because he's an on base guy, and then Soto Judge or Judge Soto doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is who bats after that. Because the last thing you want to do, if you don't have a couple guys that are good after them, they could just walk Judge and walk Soto every single time, and then the guy behind them will hit into a double play or pop up and blah blah blah. So we need the guys who can put the ball in play and drive these guys over. Um, so what's your thoughts on that, Dane? I'm curious to know what you're thinking. Yeah, if Juan DeFranco's convicted, they won't have to pay the contract. Well, yeah, I mean, but there is, yeah, the contract cannot be voided right now if he's not convicted. So, unfortunately, Houston has well, yeah, I mean, Hader boost Houston's bullpen. They've had it, but they've had problems with their bullpen the last couple of years. But again, they couldn't get past the Texas Rangers. And I wouldn't have paid $100 million or $95 million for a closer when we don't need to. Houston's also way under the Cohen threshold. The Yankees are not. So they're financially, they're in a different universe. But again, this could make it harder for them to bring Altuve back, Bregman back, and even give an extension to Kyle Tucker. So we'll see what happens after Josh Hader, the Astros. So I'm not surprised. Miguel opening day lineup. Probably DJ. Probably Soto, Judge, or Judge Soto. I don't. I'm fine either way. They're going to be hell for pitchers regardless. And let's just say with what we have. Let's just say Gleyber Torres bats fourth because he'll put the ball in play more than pretty much everybody else. Then Rizzo fifth. Then Stanton sixth. Verdugo seventh, and Volpe eighth or ninth, and the catcher ninth. And again, whether it's 8th or 9th with Volpe, even if you bat Volpe and then DJ, it's essentially having 2 leadoff hitters right back and forth. So the lineup is longer. It's more lengthened. It's more versatile. But I really think that, the 1 and 4 are going to be important pieces to surround Soto and Judge with. No matter which order they bat. I mean, we need somebody who can capably get on base, give these guys opportunity, and then, somebody who can back them up and either drive them in or put the ball in play or score. So even if you get hit a ground ball, a sac fly, somebody tags up from third, like you need to find other ways to manufacture runs. And the Yankees haven't done that. So, which is why it was so important for them to bring in guys like Verdugo and some of these other guys and keep Torres, because otherwise pitchers could have just walked Soto, walked Judge, and then knowing that the bats behind them, especially guys that we had last year, we're not going to drive them in. So they could have just walked. They could have had an on-base percentage of 1,000 and it wouldn't have made a difference. Those guys wouldn't have brought them in. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, Dane, too. Either way, I mean, I want to maximize the at-bats for Soto. I want to maximize the at-bats for Judge. So Torres, I think at this point, he's probably the best position to take advantage of the Torres Soto duo at fourth. So, Rizzo can't run as much. And he doesn't put the ball in play as much as Torres does. But if Rizzo shows to be healthy, I'd like to have a lefty after Judge if Judge bats third. So one way or another, I'm okay with that. And you could be right too. Austin Wells could move up in the tie. He could. He could very well. If he takes the next step in his offense, he can most definitely do that thing. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, Warvet, Dane's making good points here, man. Miguel Castro so saying DJ, then Rizzo, Judge. Rizzo second, Judge third, Soto fourth, tenth. I don't know if that's a six clearer. I don't know if they'll be able to maximize their production, Miguel Castro, but it's interesting. Yeah, Austin Wells could be a big part of the lineup. I like the lefty bat. I like what he brings. He's got a better bat right now than Jose Trevino. But again, and like somebody said too, you could bat Verdugo lead off against righties. You could bat DJ lead off against lefties. So we have enough. This is the first time we've had the problem of having enough depth. First problem we've had this problem in a while, right? First time we had this problem in a while. So this is a good thing. So it could be huge, Dane. If Wells takes the next step forward, if Volpe takes the next step forward, those guys, it's important for them to take the next step in their development, right? And if you get a healthy Stanton, if you get a healthy Rizzo, and he's gotten a clean bill of health by the doctors, not the Yankee doctors, by his doctors, they give him 100% bill of health. So that's a good encouraging sign too. He's working with Judge's hitting coach, as is Spencer Jones, as is Oswaldo Cabrera, Gleyber Torres. So these guys are working in the lab in Tampa, Florida right now, and or Orlando, wherever it is. So these guys are, and the fact that Nestor Cortez and Carlos Rodon came back lean and in shape, and healthy, that's a good sign too. That's a really good sign too. So JJ, I don't know. I mean, he's a better power hitter than Soto, but I think Soto's all overall um what do you call it? Overall more complete player than Judge. But if Soto bats second, I'm fine with that because he's got a high on base percentage, higher than Judge. And I want guys like Judge to have an opportunity to drive him in. But he would still be good enough to drive a bunch of guys into Soto. So, as long as these guys are back and forth, back to back, then I think, they can build around that appropriately. But to me, at this point, I think Torres would be a better cleanup option. But we'll see. These guys got to stay healthy. They got to stay productive. So they could get a good return if they trade Torres. Yeah, I mean, I think they're still looking. I mean, like at this point, there's a couple of things like we know you're not going to re-sign Torres because of all the infield depth that they have. So you're either going to let him walk for a QO and get draft pick compensation and two picks, right? Or international money and draft pick compensation. Or you trade him. But what are you going to trade him for? And that's the thing. And how are you going to replace that offense? Because that's key too. So it's going to be interesting. And if Stanton comes back healthy, he could still put up 30 to 35 home runs, maybe even more if he's healthy, he's in shape. So, I mean, he looks lean, he's mashing baseball. So I like what I see there, but I always like what I see in the offseason with Stanton, and then he somehow gets hurt, So that's the key. And I mean, if I'm them, I'm resting Stanton 1 day a week at least, even if he's hot. One day of sitting doesn't really kill a heater, a good streak that people are on. That consistent rest day for him would be a wise idea to keep him healthy or healthier in the offseason, throughout the whole season. So, yeah, Warvet lineups. Yeah, I mean, Verdugo, I mean, I could see him in the 4, 5, 6 hole. I could see him in the 7, 8, 9 hole. I honestly don't think he's going to care where he hits. I think he's going to be fine. And I'll take a Verdugo, Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells, or Verdugo, Anthony Volpe, or something like that. So, That's a nice. That's a hell of a lot better 7, 8, 9, or 4, 5, 6 than we've had last couple of years. So, which is nice too. So we've got, like I said, we break it down 1 through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you can get a contact bat and a power bat in each 3 of those segments. Yankees going to be pretty damn dangerous. Pretty damn dangerous, and they're in a much better position now to get this balanced lineup, this longer lineup. So, well, the 10th year Ollie, that's it. They void his opt. If Cole chooses to opt out, they can void it. That's built into his contract. They can void it they'll stop it dead in its tracks by adding the 10th year. Preemptively would be nice. That's what the Yankees did with CC Sabathia. There was talk about him opting out, and they added more length to his deal. It would be a good gesture to do that to Garrett Cole. We'll see if they do that. Honestly, we'll see if they do that. So, 132 likes. All right. 18 to get 150. Well, yeah. I trust Glaber more batting than I do fielding. So, I'll just leave it at that. Niners intercepted Jordan Love, right? And Niners are fighting back. If they add a 10th year, yeah, he'll be 40 when his contract expires. He'll be 38 when it ends. Dev, what's good, Dev? Yeah, Chad Curtis served time for relations, whatever you want to call young girls. Juan DeFranco. But now they're saying, with the Dominican Republic, he should face lesser charges or blah, blah, blah. But, look, man, if they can suspend Trevor Bauer, but again, they banned him from baseball for a while, but the Dodgers had to pay every dime of Bauer's contract while he was gone. So that's the key. Well, Texas. I think we're all wondering that which Stanton's going to show up, right? We need a productive Stanton. So JJ, why is it? Because he's a workhorse. He's mechanically sound, and he's definitely, he takes very, very, very meticulous care of himself and his pitching mechanics. So, and he's durable. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. You want to keep it that way. Martian. No, he's coming back at some point this summer. Kenneth, that's what Aaron Boone said the other day. Some point this summer. June, July, August, something like that. Come back. And again, when he comes back, I wouldn't rush him. I would not rush him. I would be smart with him. And, and give him the Bryce Harper treatment. Have him DH for a while. Especially if Stanton somehow is hurt. You DH the Martian. Period. That's it. So let him ease himself back into the field. So, and I hope that these guys are smart with him. I really do. Well, exactly, JJ. There's no need to rush to Mingus. You can just give Spencer. You can give Spencer Jones a chance. That's right. Yeah. Well, I know they're listening, and they put feelers out on Torres, Jonathan. I know that, but as far as we know right now, no momentum in terms of Torres trade. Yeah. Well, the Yankees and Dodgers are spending price money respect to hustle now, but the cost of messing up the salary of a team, especially with. Well, the Judge was unnecessary. They needed to do that. Rodon, I'll take Rodon for 6 over Yamamoto for 12. I mean, the Dodgers have tied themselves up for 2 decades with Ohtani, for 12 years with Yamamoto. The longest contract the Yankees have had is right here is 9 years with Cole and Judge. So yeah, I mean, I don't know who they're going to add. I expect them to add somebody, Kenneth, to the bullpen. But they're also known for developing relief pitchers. So and finding them. So in Cashman, I trust when it comes to the bullpen. I really do. So I don't know, I mean, thankfully, you don't play the same position. Hicks is a different breed. And again, Hicks, like when the Yankees gave Hicks his extension, you know, it was considered a great value at the time. The timing of it was good. It was set. Was it 7 years, 70 million? He was very productive for the Yankees for several years, and then which more than justified the extension. I didn't think any of us thought he was going to turn into being a complete albatross at a certain point. Like, and now he's a free agent. The Orioles don't even want him now. So just the way that it is, you know. It's just like, Carlos Rodon came off 2 very good years. So his contract signing was justified by his recent performance. So you just don't know, fortunately. But yeah, Glaber doesn't have a place in this team after next season. I don't disagree with that at all. At all, Jonathan. So God bless you too, Kenneth. I appreciate you. Yeah, Kenneth, I'm not sure Hader would have been worth the $19 million. I think you can get comparable production. I mean, you look at Neris. Neris had a better year than Hader. It'll cost a heck of a lot less. So, but I get what you're saying. But the allure of Hader isn't always going to, I mean, it's not necessarily the reality of Hader. So, I'm not sure if Hader would have made it in New York. Texas Buckeye, I appreciate you so much, my man. You are a legend. You really are. My man. I think 6 will be core. We had core 4 now. Your expectations are. Is Ben Rice hype a real? I mean, he's a catcher / first baseman, so we don't know. We don't know. They could groom him to be a different position player too. So like, we have no idea at this point right now. But again, like, it's a good problem to have, having guys that can play multiple positions. Makes them more appealing on the team, in trades, and all and so on and so forth. So, that's that's a good thing. Like Ben, I like it. I like the fact that we have Ben Rice and Dominguez and Jones. And can you imagine, Yankees could have a lot of young, dynamic, really good players to complement these expensive superstars that they have. And that's a recipe for a very good team, sustainable team. They do that. And I'm hoping that that's the case. Yeah, exactly. And like, we heard reports on Neris wanting 3 years and 50 million. Then we heard the day after that he wanted 2 years, 22. So this is the thing. Like, reporters A, B, and C put out this, and the reporters D and F completely contradict what those guys are. So the reporting has been all over the place for almost everything this offseason. So you don't know what to believe or who to believe. It makes it sometimes tough for people like content creators like us to put out stuff, because you get a lot of crazy stuff. Which is why I like to give you, both sides of a story if I have it. So more than less. And I think that's important. So Houston, I mean, yeah, I'm not sleeping on Houston. Willard, I'm not sleeping on Houston. So, yeah. Oh, exactly, Willard. Ben Rice is a lefty bat. Core 4 had O'Neill, Brocious, and Tino. Yes, they did. And I consider it the core 5, because I don't, Bernie was a better hitter than all these guys in the postseason. So those guys were great, but Bernie should have been. I would have made it the core 5 with Bernie Williams. I really would have. Eduardo Nunez. Yeah, that's a good one, Udall. But yeah, Sean, man, they had everybody there. O'Neill, Brocious, Tino. You had like, Duque. You had Shane Spencer, Ricky Leday. You had so many of these guys. So yeah, I mean, Ethan, it's glad I'm. It's comforting, Dev. All right, Dev. Always appreciate you being part of the family, man. Yeah, I did see. I did. But I'm just glad that something I wanted to happen actually happened. So Jeter said it too on one of the post game shows. He really wanted them to go after the man Juan Soto. He's the great white shark, and again, like who better to compliment Aaron Judge in baseball than Juan Soto? That is one hell of a duo. Like, my goodness. So do I think the Yankees will get that Munetaka Murakami? I don't know, Kenneth, because if let's just say, okay, um, Ben Rice turns out to be the real deal. Spencer Jones turns out to be the real deal. One of them is going to play first base. Where are you going to play Murakami? Unless you could play him at third base. You know, that situation I would do that, but with those guys here, I wouldn't bring Murakami for first base. Because I would want Rice and Jones and Dominguez and Murakami in the lineup to go with Soto and Judge. That is just suicide for pitchers. That's just brutal if they were able to do that. But we'll see. You know, like right now, I'm not obsessing over the Japanese players. So they come, they come. They don't, they don't. But I'm not going to also sit here and assume that the Dodgers are going to get every single one of them either. So Aaron Judge, super home run in 2024. Super monster bill at roster. I'm telling you, Courtney. 100. We need 9 likes to get to 150. All right. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes. Yeah, I mean, Courtney, if they're building this roster the way we think we're building it, because their farm hasn't been stacked this much in a long time. So it's very encouraging to see this. And they have guys that could just come in and fill the spots in every position. So I can't remember the last time the Yankees farm has been this deep. So, and that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. Guys that come up, their bench is better too. You know, this is like Cashman. He's made like 27 or 28 minor league deals. Like he's done boatloads this offseason. I can't think of a GM that's been busier than him. Okay, it doesn't have to be the sexy moves. It really doesn't. So, I want to know who would hit 60 home runs. Yeah, I mean, imagine Judge hit 60. I would love Soto to get like a 450 on base percentage and bat 330 or something like that. I would love that. And they let Judge hit the 60 home runs. I don't want Stanton to deviate from being the best contact hitter and on base percentage guy in baseball. No matter what, I don't want him to deviate from that. Yeah, Stanton's got to waive his no trade clause. Yeah, DFAing, exactly. If you DFA a player, you're eating all the money. Trade a player, different story. So, move 3 prospects for Burns. Yeah, what 3 prospects is the question? Ethan, yeah, I mean, I would not move Spencer Jones for him. So, yeah, I mean, look, if Yamamoto turns out to be okay with the Dodgers, okay. You know, but if Soto hit 40, I would not be offended at all. At all. So, um, but I do think they're in a much better position to attack teams differently than last year. That's for damn sure. So just having Soto in this lineup changes a lot for the Yankees for the better. A lot. Burns, yeah, believe me, nothing scares me more than Cole and Burns. Cole and Snell doesn't scare me the same way. Cole and Cease doesn't scare me the same way. Cole and Burns would scare me. So, Yeah, James, we have 5 catchers on the 40-man. I do think at least one of them will get moved. Which one? I don't know, but I think one of them will get moved. I think Chase Hampton's gonna be he will be the real deal, yeah. And Will Warren too. And there's a couple other guys behind them that could be the real deal too. So, international drafts. I mean, they got a fair amount of pitchers and catchers. I mean, JJ, they got I think they brought 3 catchers in this year. And they brought in, I think, 4 or 5 pitchers, and the rest of them were position players. So kind of across the board for the Yankees this year, which is good. Which is good. The Yankees trade Texas. They've traded some guys, but I mean, obviously they traded Mike King and Randy Vasquez and Johnny Brito and Agashoka, and I'm missing somebody to the Padres for Juan Soto and Trent Grisham. They traded a 3 pitchers also to the Red Sox for Alex Verdugo. Those are the significant ones, Texas. Everything else was a kind of an incremental thing. And they made 3 trades this offseason. So the rest of them, the other trade was to the Cleveland Guardians, Estevan Florial to the Guardians for Cody Morris for the bullpen. So they moved some guys. They've gotten better in the bench. They've gotten better in their depth, starting and non-starting. They've added bullpen depth. They added a starting pitcher. So anything they add at this point moving forward is gravy compared to what they've already done. Team's a hell of a lot better than they were last year. I'm very confident of that. Cole, I mean, I would love for Cole to get 21. I would love for Cole to get win the World Series. If he can win the World Series and throw a no-hitter in his Yankee tenure, I'd be fun. I'd be in heaven. I really would. So, well, that's the problem too, Robert. Like, even without Stanton, okay? So Ohtani is going to DH this year. And the problem with that, he's not going to play a position in the outfield. So if Mookie needs a half day or Freeman needs a half day, somebody's got to sit. Ohtani's got to sit. Whereas if something else happened, like if somebody was a position player, it'd be a different story. But so the Ohtani thing makes it more difficult for them to have Ohtani and these guys in the lineup. Like Ohtani was obviously going to be their DH this year. But if these other guys need a half a day, they're going to have to sit, or Ohtani's going to have to sit. So it's a little bit of a problem. Oh, yeah. Trey Sweeney to the Dodgers, James, yeah. For Victor Gonzalez and Yorbit Vivas. Yep. So, and I'm with Jonathan. I think the Yankees will focus on a bullpen before spring training. And if a starting pitching opportunity presents itself, they'll probably jump on it. So, yeah, I mean, Corbin Burns would be crazy, Marquis Fresh. Hell yeah. Cole, Burns, Rodon, Stroman. That would be nuts. It would be absolutely nuts. The outfield was, last year was, we had McKinney, Bowers, Franchi. You also had Calhoun. It wasn't. Now we've got Trent Grisham. We got Alex Verdugo. You got these other guys here. It's a heck of a lot better outfield, Peter. Heck of a lot better. Yeah, Ethan, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move for Burns if they can get him at the right price. So, Sheffield and Giambi are both twilight of their careers. Judge and yeah. Soto's pretty much entering his prime now, that's the time to get him. That's the time to get him. One more IKF signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays. They also re-signed Kevin Kiermaier. There's some chatter about them maybe being a favorite for Jorge Soler, some other guys too. So I expect them to add a bat. I expect the Chicago Cubs to add a bat. So it's going to be interesting to see where the rest of these players goes. Still 170 players unsigned. It's crazy. And former Yankee Rougned Odor, remember him? He signed with. He's going to Japan, playing baseball in Japan next year. So that's another thing that happened. Was it yesterday or today? He's leaving the majors and going to Japan. So yeah, appreciate the likes, everybody. We appreciate it. Yeah, ICAF was a hell of a lot better, Ethan, this past year. He was better in 23 than he was 22. He's playing way out of position in 22 also. So, but I think when Sean Casey came here, IKF really clicked well with him. I think he really clicked well. But I thank you all for the likes too. Man, I'll wrap this up in a minute too. Let's see. Yeah. But like, what other team in the American League has gotten improved as much as the Yankees? I can't think of any. Can't think of any. So, the Yankees are definitely capitalizing on opportunities here. And again, not every opportunity is sexy. Do you remember like Clay Holmes? People were, and this guy Diego Castillo, who they just brought in, was part of the initial Clay Holmes trade. When the Yankee fans were outraged when we sent Hoyt Park to Pittsburgh, and we're like, who the hell is Clay Holmes? A mid-5 ERA? Well, he's 2.5 ERA now. Matt Blake has gotten him so much. He's gotten so much more out of him, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So Matt Blake has gotten a lot out of the relievers. So in Matt Blake, I trust with the bullpen. And in Brian Cashman, I trust to get Matt Blake the right guys to go to the bullpen. Like Cody Morris got 3 options. He's familiar with Blake. Victor Gonzalez, he's essentially wanting on the cheap, 3 years of control. So you got these guys. You have Scott Efros, who's got 4 more years of control before he's a free agent. Like, a lot. A lot. Yeah, Ethan, they lost a lot and they gained a lot, the Dodgers. Yeah, and they also brought Emmanuel Margot in that trade with Tyler Glasnow. So, we'll see what they do. But again, like, they got to get through the Braves. They got to get through the Phillies. They got to get through the Diamondbacks. Like, I'm not going to just hand these guys the World Series championship. And the Diamondbacks added Eduardo Rodriguez. They added a starting pitcher on the left-handed side. So, and they got a young, dynamic team, the Diamondbacks. I wouldn't sleep on them. I would not sleep on them at all. So, yeah, right now, it's Aaron Boone said DJ is going to man down third base. Unless something else happens. I mean, I'll take him instead of paying $25 million a year for Matt Chapman. I don't see the point in that. So, Well, I doubt it, Rodolfo. I doubt Soto walks, and I doubt they're going to finish in 3rd or 4th place. I doubt it. And they've already replaced, for the most part, the players that they traded away to Soto and Grisham. Not just Soto and Grisham. So he will realize the front office, who's telling you that, Rodolfo? Who's telling you that? Future position players are Rice, Dominguez, Wells, Vivas. You got Tyler Hardman. You got some other guys too, some young Jared Surnoff in the infield. You got some young, exciting players that can still come in here and contribute. So it's going to be interesting. Really interesting. Nestor's in shape right now, and he's reported to Tampa early, Ethan. So has Carlos Rodon. He's also lean and in shape. Last year, he wasn't in shape, I think, when he came here in spring training. He looked just fat and sloppy. Now he's lean. I've seen pictures of him. He looks fit, and apparently he's doing well, and the Yankees could not be more excited for these guys. So that's a good thing. Oswald Peraza. He could, Texas. Oswald Peraza could, if they keep him. If they keep Oswald Peraza. Or he could be a roving utility, too, for the infield. So we don't know what he's going to do yet. But, with all these infielders that they brought in and utility guys, it's making me think that Oswald Peraza is going to be moved soon, probably for pitching. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Yankees do. I don't know. That I'm really curious about. So if you can move Stan, wouldn't that be a better play to get? I mean, Ethan, if you could theoretically, I don't see it happening, but you know, I would rather Stanton play well and be healthy and productive. That would be a better play than moving Stanton, in my opinion. Because he still puts up numbers. Even if he missed 60 games, he still put up like 25 home runs last year. So the same amount of home runs as Torres with 60 less games. So, you know, well, yeah, I mean, he's in shape and he's leaned out, but is it going to keep most of his injuries in the lower body? So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, Ethan. Yeah, and there are more moves coming. You can also hit under 200 Udall on a regular basis and a lot of home runs. Adam Dunn, 400 plus home runs, just like Stanton, and a career like a low two career ERA. But he had a bunch of years where he went under 200 and had like 40 home runs. Reminds me a lot of Stanton. But I can't see Stanton being moved. So I can't see him being moved. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll take it 1 year at a time. I'd rather he be healthy. I'd rather Rizzo be healthy. I'd rather DJ be healthy. Rodon be healthy and Cortez be healthy. Those 5 guys, man. You get a good healthy season from these guys, or most of a healthy season. Yankees going to be a hell of a lot better shape. Hell of a lot better shape. So, but that's what we got right now. Okay, so we'll be live Tuesday again to go over the Hall of Fame final announcement, and I'm looking forward to seeing who gets in. So, yeah, Ethan, they played a lot of small ball, the Diamondbacks. I think they're going to continue to do that. So, Chris Davis, Udall, he's retired now. They moved on from him, Baltimore Orioles. But Chris Davis, they signed him to a huge deal. 7-year, 161. Pretty much the same contract that the Yankees gave CC Sabathia, they gave to Chris Davis, and it just did not pan out. Peraza, Pereira, Ramirez. I think Peraza and Pereira are most likely to be traded, Warbet. Probably for pitching. That's my guess. But we'll see. Adderall, yeah, I'm not surprised. Davis was a big boy, Peter. He was a big boy, and Adderall's that's not a ped, but it's different. But yeah. CC, he's in fantastic shape now. Fantastic shape. It's like a damn, a CrossFit professional. So everyday third right now, Ethan's good. Aaron Boone and them, they already said DJ, unless proven otherwise. Yeah, Beltray, Maurer, Wagner, and maybe Sheffield. Probably. And who's the other guy? Todd Helton? Jonathan? The other guy's up there with Maurer in the 80s right now. I think he stays up there. Yeah, Todd Helton's at 88%. No, 83%, excuse me. I think Helton gets him too. Good question, Warvet. We don't know if Warvet stays. Don't know. Narvaez might have more trade value than Warvet, so he might stay. But we'll see. Same to you, Udo Mazel Tov, my friend. Yeah, Todd Helton. But have a great night, everybody. I want to thank you all for coming on. Hit the like button on the way out. If there's anybody in here that hasn't subbed to the channel, I ask that you do that as well. I thank you so much for it. Excuse me. I want to make sure you don't miss anything as we move forward here. And we got a couple more subscribers tonight, so I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. But as always, peace and love to all of yous. Thank you so much. Dane, if you're still in here, always a pleasure, my man. Buckeye, Consiglietti, the Emperors of Texas, the Knights of Texas, Jonathan, War Vet, the whole lot of yous. Love you all. You're the best. Over and out.